Welcome everyone to Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. My name is Kyle Heyer. I'm alongside Finian Nakuna today for Time Attack, Finian, at Road Atlanta. This is so exciting for us because we've never been to a racetrack like this before. This is a pro racetrack and a little bit different than Gingerman Raceway where I was for Midwest. You weren't with me last time, but Time Attack's taken to the racetrack right now. The only experience we have here is in iRacing, so this is a different thing overall for everybody here. I mean, just the elevation changes and how this place looks when you roll in the gate. It's a spectacular venue.
Yeah, there's something that has to be said, and the difference between, a computer, what's on your computer, and what you see in real life. On a computer, you see a hill, it's like, oh, okay, you just go down it here. Here, and even on the screen, seeing it on TV too, once you're here in person to really see the elevation change down the hill, up and down the S's, it's a really amazing track.
So right now, we're just finishing up the advanced session for the HPDE, and the Time Attack car is about to roll onto the grid. There's some really, really fast cars in this, to put it lightly. So as we head down the hill here, we're positioned down in turn 10A, and they're going to come down the hill doing 130 plus, Finny, and you're going to jump on the binders, get down to second gear, roll through the chicane, get on the curbing, accelerate up over the hill underneath the bridge, and right now we're looking at the S's. This is a spectacular set of corners, Finny. I mean, this is like Watkins Glen in reverse, picking up so much speed down through here on the curbs.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. It's one of probably the best sections of the track, also one of the hardest to get right. It's such a rhythm section. You really need to nail each corner, and each corner that you nail is going to set up the next few corners down the line, so it's really a matter of getting it right.
Absolutely. So right now we're looking, this is at the bottom, that's turn 5 over there on the left, and then looking down towards turn 6 and turn 7. A couple of very fast corners, about second or third gear, depending on your gearing, and then accelerating on the right-hand side of the screen to the long back straightaway, heading down towards us under the Motul Bridge. It's so fast down here. We head to turn 10 on the brakes, down to second gear, and you're really testing your equipment at this point. Not only your brakes, but also your downforce, what level of downforce you have before accelerating up underneath the bridge. And it gets really light up under this bridge, Finian, so make sure you get your power down, but not too hard.
Yeah, definitely not too hard. You want to just ease up on the acceleration, especially because at the top of the hill, you're going to end up start turning as well. So you want to make sure you don't put too much load on the car. Otherwise, you're going to end up spinning it out down the hill. And I don't think anyone really wants to do that.
So taking a look at the cars, we just saw a couple Mustangs come by. There was an S2000 out there as well, and I think there's a CRX out there, a Porsche Cayman, and a little MX-5 again. So a lot of diversity in cars in this Time Attack group, of course, running for lap time only. There's a Z06 out there as well. So huge differences in not only horsepower level, but also the weight and the downforce levels in these cars.
Yeah, and that's, I think, really probably the best part about this event, just seeing so many different types of cars out there all running similar lap times. Obviously some differences here and there. Obviously some guys have better handling cars, some guys have better power, and it really, this track has a lot of different sections with the long straightaways and a lot of sweeping corners.
One of the things we always talk about coming to Road Atlanta is the curbing here. A lot of racetracks have very flat FIA style curbing. We have that here in turn 10, but down the S's, down the hill towards the final corner and up the hill towards turn 3, the curbs are really tall. They're very narrow as well, so you don't necessarily want to use them all the time because they'll set your car off the line just a little bit. You don't want that. You see the curbs right here. Look how tall they are, like 6-7 inches tall. You get your tires up on those, you're going for a ride. Turn 5 exit, which we're looking at right here, you want to climb that curb on exit because you're going to be straightened out and you can take that. But again, turn 10, flatter curbs, you can use a lot of those.
Yeah, but definitely coming out of turn 5 especially, big curb, but you don't want to use up all the curb because there's a sand trap waiting for you right on the other side. So it's a very fine line. You don't want to push too far over the edge.
Well, you bring a good point about the gravel traps on corner exit. There are racetracks like Gingerman that have not really a whole lot to hit if you get off the racetrack. Here, there's a little bit of grass and a nice big concrete wall. So this is a very, very dangerous racetrack in that respect. But it's a great racetrack. It's a fun racetrack. It's one of the few racetracks left in the U.S. that retains its original configuration, with the exception of the addition of the turn 10 chicane here. So about ready to go green here. A couple Mustangs out there. There's looking at pit road here. We're just getting rolling.
Yeah, there the cars rolling off of pit road, getting ready for the Time Attack.
And there's that Dodge Challenger, I believe, was at Midwest as well. And that thing hauls in a straight line, but doesn't do so great in the corners. So it's definitely going to do better on the latter half of the course, on the longer straights. Down the S's, that thing drives like a refrigerator.
Yeah, and again, that's really where the different car types, we got definitely better handling cars. A lot of the smaller cars have smaller engines, but definitely better handling to play with. So that's where they're going to do better on the S's, but again, not so much on the straightaways itself.
And I believe we have an on-board camera with the crew, and we're actually going to take a ride in this car later, hopefully at some point. And this is Luke McGrew in his Dodge Viper ACR, and this car is insane. When you think about the prototypes of race here in IMSA, we hear about them, so they have about 500, 600 horsepower. That car has 650 stock. That is absurd how fast that car is going to go down the long straights here.
Yeah, it is, and it also, just you have to say, too, beautiful car. You got to say, beautiful car, the Viper.
And also kind of a deal when you consider it. I mean, I think they knocked off the price of that off the Corvette Z06, and it's actually, at one point, it was cheaper than the Z06 to buy.
Yeah, and especially it's worth it, especially if you really love power, because you get a lot of it for your money.
Absolutely, and also a lot of downforce. It has a massive rear wing that's going to give you a ton of downforce through the fast and twisties. So everyone right now is warming up their tires, scrubbing off all the dirt, all the red Atlanta clay that they're getting off the tires before they take the green here. And you want your tires to be nice and up to temperature as well as your brakes. So you're going to be dragging the brakes a little bit as well.
Yeah, and it's look at the arrow on that car. How about that? You got front wing. It looks like an F1 car with the winglets it has.
Yeah, that car was absolutely ridiculous at Midwest. And, of course, there's Luke McGrew and his ACR Viper right at the middle of your screen there. And, again, Luke is a good friend of ours. And at some point this weekend, we're hoping to get inside that car and go for a ride. But they're coming through turn 10 right here. You see Luke's just waiting, getting some distance. And the turbo in the K2 vehicle up and spooling.
Yep, and here comes Luke McGrew coming through the final set of corners. He's ready to launch in that Viper. And away he goes.
And then onto the front straight. Under the Michelin bridge on the front straightaway here. In this corner, look at how little runoff. It's such a high load corner. You're coming down the hill, fourth gear, 110, 120 miles an hour, and there's a thin little curb and then 20, 30 feet of grass, and then you're done. Here's turn 3, top of the hill. Big curve on the inside with big tiger teeth, I like to call them. About 7, 8 inch tall curves. Down the hill through the S's, a lot of downforce through here.
Yeah, a lot of downforce, and got to get it low down just enough for turn number 5. Get on the curve on the exit, get a nice run down onto turn 6.
So Luke's working his way through the S's for the first time. And so Luke is one of the guys that was in the GRIDLIFE iRacers League. And that's where we came from. That's why we're here right now, Finney, is the GRIDLIFE iRacers stuff. So what can these guys learn from the sim where that they can apply to the racetrack when they get here?
Definitely, especially going through the S's, trying to just practice different lines through those corners to try to get a little bit of a leg up. And especially also, too, setting up for these straightaways. I can't stress how important it is for the lap time-wise. Getting a nice run out of turn number 7 and getting a launch down the straightaway could really chop off a second or two.
We discussed earlier about not having the seat of the pants feel in the simulator, but you do get the audio, you do get the visual, and I think that helps a lot. I don't think driving in a sim makes you a good race car driver, but I do think it helps you on the way. We've talked with IMSA driver Tom O'Gorman quite a bit, extensively, about the uses that iRacing has. And we've discussed that, again, it's not the seat of the pants feel that you get, but knowing your braking markers and knowing how to attack a corner, how to hit the apex, how to track out, that kind of stuff is very important. So lap times coming up here, 124.399 for Houghton. And, of course, Luke McGrew with 128.019. And when you consider the lap times that a GT3 car runs here, Finney, probably in the range of 117 to 118, the fact that a $650,000 GT3 car is only about 10 seconds quicker, that's amazing to me.
Yeah, it really is amazing, too, when you think about just speed in general. Expensive. Once you get into the higher pricing, you're only chopping off tenths and a few seconds here and there. But, I mean, these guys, again, these cars, a lot cheaper, but definitely doesn't mean that they're not a lot of fun, because these cars are amazing to look at.
Wesley with a 130.498, he's P3 at the moment. Morrison a 130.617 P4, and Rabo in the 130.806 in his machine. Chris Borsma, 131.688. That's a name we're familiar with from the GRIDLIFE iRacer series. I love these drone shots. The camera crew does a spectacular job here, getting some amazing shots of this facility. And gives you a great idea of how sprawling this racetrack is.
Yeah, looking at turn 6 and 7 now. It's a tricky section. Not really as far as the corners, but again, just setting up for the rest of the track is really kind of a corner that's harder.
It's really narrow down through here. Something that you don't really get necessarily in the sim is how narrow this corner is. It's really one line through here. If you mess that up, you're going off the racetrack. However, the funny thing is the gravel trap is probably wouldn't where you really need it.
Yeah, and you can even see, too, on turn 7, you can see where the grass is kind of dead from people dipping a wheel out.
Kelly with a 132.239 right behind Borsma. And we'll see when they come back around again. Got a K2 and 33 offline down in the chicane here. Probably just, I don't know if he's got an issue. but he's parked on the drift chicane, I guess we'll call it.
I think that's a good name for it.
So he's stuck there, and I'd be surprised if they let him sit here without going yellow. But he's just right off our right side here.
Yeah, there he is.
And
Ooh,
there's some smoke coming from the nose of that car.
Yeah, that doesn't
look so good. Yes, this 33 car, it's really, really quick, I'll give you that, but it definitely doesn't look too healthy right now. And he's motioning for help as well.
Yeah.
So I imagine we'll see some yellow flags waving here shortly. I don't see any at the flag stand just yet, but he is exiting the vehicle.
Yeah, so I imagine they're probably going to get guys slow down a bit for him to kind of get out and get the car off the track. Well, that's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
And you can tell, too, just by the way he's walking, he's just not happy at all with that.
It looks like it could be terminal with the smoke coming out from underneath the engine. And Will I Young, the 119.962, he goes quickest by 5 seconds in I Young. And we should get a camera on Will I Young at some point here. But also, I love looking at the drift pad there, the grip circle there. Oh, car off down here in turn number 10.
Ooh.
The 222 Challenger. Car off the racetrack.
Yeah, he went for a bit of an off.
Yeah, so we just had the Challenger go off wide in turn 10.
Ooh, is that another car slow?
Yeah, we do have another car slowed down. This is down the S's as well. There comes
he's
McGrew. Yeah, Will I Young. Yep, Will I Young pulled off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I Young's pulled off the track at the bottom of the S's. There is a yellow flag displayed there. We also have a car off in turn 10. So I imagine we'll probably go yellow to recover these vehicles at some point.
Yeah, really unfortunate, especially after he ran a 119.9, went fastest by about 5 seconds, or 5 or 4 seconds. So, and just gonna have to immediately pull off the track.
So, kind of just waiting to see what'll happen here with the track conditions, because we do have 2 cars off, and I do expect them to have to recover these vehicles eventually. And I Young is out of the way, but he's still inside the vehicle. The K-tuned vehicle has been vacated, however, but he did leave a hot racetrack, so Adam will probably have a little something to say about that. But Luke is still working his way through at speed still, so they haven't gone full course yet.
Yeah, so they're still letting guys go around. And I've just been told that Will I Young fastest time has set the fastest time in a production car at a 119.5.
Yeah.
So
That's one way to go out with a bang, is run a 119.9 and then blow your motor down the hill.
There's only 410s off, which is definitely manageable. So we'll see if he could hopefully get back on and try to beat that time.
Yeah, so McGrew right now sitting P3 with a 127.990 and comes to the top of the hill in turn 3, and he looks like he is still on it. He might be. I can't tell if he's on it or not as he comes down the hill. Looks like he's off pace now. But so I think they're just having Will I Young just kind of hang tight in his car and just hopefully wait for the end of the session. That Challenger 222 still rolling right now. He did go off a couple laps ago in turn 10, but the thing you have to worry about when you go off here is getting grass in the grill. You don't want to overheat your motor. So generally, if you go off the racetrack, you want to come in, check your temps, make sure that you're okay there.
Yeah, and even going off the track, so you want to be careful getting back on the track, because the difference in grip on the grass and gas will kind of catch you off guard. So that's also another thing you want to be careful of.
Coming down the hill, still a yellow flag displayed in the sector that I Young is sitting in. And there's that 222 Challenger at the top of the hill coming on down. So I Young still with the quickest time of the session. Yeah, that's got to really stink.
Yeah.
Running a 119.9 and you got the best time of the session, and now you're sitting probably broken at the bottom.
And I'm pretty sure that was his first lap. So his first lap out's at a blistering time, and I'm hoping there's nothing wrong with the car and can continue on.
So McGrew coming down the hill now. I think he is. Every time I think he's off, he seems to pick it right back up. So 9 minutes so far in this session. And I Young still has best time in the 19.9. Houghton with a 24.399. McGrew at 27.99. And McGrew's coming across the line again. Does he improve this time? Doesn't look like he will. Or actually, no. Did it? 27.9 was where he was before, I think.
Yeah.
So this group should be over soon. I don't think we're going to stop this session at this point, considering we've got 2 cars off track. We're still going. So I think we're just going to run this session out to the end.
Yeah, again, just looking over turns 6 and 7 at the back part of the course. Does look like a lot of guys have pulled off, though.
It does seem, I think a lot of people, I'm not sure if they're willing to go out on track in case their time gets cut short. They don't want to waste the tire and fuel, considering there's 2 cars off track. So again, we were talking about the sim earlier, because that's where our experience level is running with the sim. And when it's a different feeling, GLTC versus running for lap time. For lap time, you're wringing every little bit out of the car. And even though GLTC races are short, you're focused on maybe saving your equipment a little bit, keeping the brakes relatively cool, keeping the tires cool. Here, you're going to get the tires warmed up and just go for a lap hard. So talking about the challenges of being right on that ragged edge only for 1 lap.
Yeah, and I think that's really where it is, because especially compared to GLTC, where guys, more worried also about each other rather than the track itself. Here, you're just purely focused on the racetrack at hand, just maximizing everything you can out of the car, getting it out in and out of the corners, but also, again, just making sure that you keep within the boundaries so you don't push over and ruin your lap, because then you have to go a whole other way around.
Absolutely. So again, Road Atlanta is a spectacular course. We talked about the elevation change when we walked in. A lot of these higher-powered cars coming up over the top of the hill, they lose all that grip in the rear.
Yeah, and that's, again, another potential trouble spot. Obviously, I haven't really seen anyone struggle with that so far today. But definitely can be, especially because you want to get as good of a run down that corner, and Apex is just right to get a run on the front straightaway.
So it looks like the session at least has mostly completed. There's 1 car still working its way around. Young still sitting disabled at the top of the S's. And K-Tune Civic still at the turn 10 area. So vehicle recovery likely to happen here soon.
It looks like some guys are starting to pull into the pits as well.
Yeah, so again, I'm curious where the driver went, because he just got out and went away. So I guess not my problem, I guess. Still double yells being shown there by Young in that vehicle. And, again, I guess if there's any consolation, running the quickest time in the session's got to make that a little bit sweeter.
Yeah, pretty much did a mic drop there. I don't know, again, not sure if he did it on purpose, but ran the fastest time and then immediately pulled off.
Yeah, so I think Luke McGrew is looking a little upset right now. I think he wanted to go a little quicker. He wants to go again, judging by those motions there. But
yeah, that's what you call a driver right there, wanting to go out again.
Absolutely. We got a friend over here. I haven't been introduced yet.
What's up, guys?
How's it going?
Nice to actually meet you guys. I'm Austin Cabot.
Oh, good to meet you.
Good to meet you guys, too. So
right.
We're out here yesterday helping announce a little bit. Adam and I run the Slip Angle podcast as well, but I've been kind of watching you guys when you announce all of the sim racing stuff that GRIDLIFE does for the Winter Series. So you guys are very, very polished. Glad to have you guys out here joining us.
Yeah, thank you. We're a little fish out of water with the time attack thing. I don't think we knew until last night that we were doing this, so we don't know a whole lot of the drivers. I know Houghton, we know McGrew, we know those guys, but
right.
Yeah, I have a list of vehicles for GLTC and all the driver information and stuff, so I'm good. I'm prepared for that.
Yeah.
But it's good to have someone that knows what they're talking about.
What's
up here as
interesting
well.
with time attack versus wheel-to-wheel racing, you get a little bit more breathing room when you're announcing than you do with wheel-to-wheel. So if you guys can handle wheel-to-wheel like I know you guys can, this will be very easy. It's just kind of learning some of the background.
Was there a Supra out there? I think I saw a Supra.
There is. So Jackie Ding is out there in a brand new Supra. I think he got it 3 or 4 weeks ago. Ran a 136.113 yesterday.
Wow.
On stock suspension. So
will that void your warranty?
Yeah. So
I feel like it would.
You're going to see 2 of them out there today. Chinchi Chiang from the Atlanta area is actually in another one, a red one. Absolutely. So he'll be in, I believe, the next run group. But yeah, Jackie. I thought Jackie'd be in the 136, 137 range. There he is. You can see him right there coming down through the S's, but getting pretty loose. Jackie Ding has been driving with us for quite a while. Was in an S2000 for a long time.
Yeah, he's hauling right now.
And I think we'll see him in the probably in the 35s this morning.
Yeah, this new Supra. There's been a lot of discussion around the Supra and how it's basically a BMW Z4. I'm a Toyota fan myself. I think the Supra is a spectacular car. What's your opinions on it in terms of being a successor to the Gen 4 Supra?
You know, what really surprised me about it is it's a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be. In photos, it looks somewhat large, but it's actually shorter than an FRS is. and it's about 4 inches wider than an FRS, if I'm not mistaken. So a little bit shorter wheelbase, helps it rotate a little bit better, but a little bit wider stance gives it a little bit more grip.
Yeah, so what I've heard about this car, and I know Tom O'Gorman took one for a spin, and one of the things he said was that this car squats and just goes on corner exits. It's got a real soft rear suspension, gives it a lot of corner exit grip. But also, I've heard that these cars, dynoed, make more power than they say that they have, which is awesome. I mean, if you're going to dyno it, you want to see a bigger number than you got sold, right?
Right. So, no, he just got that car, and he's wanting to see exactly what it'll do. I was talking to another driver last night, and supposedly Jackie said that he wants to make it go faster than a TCR race car while still being on street tires.
That would be really impressive. I guess jury's still out if he can do that. But
yeah, I was looking up lap times, what Tom O'Gorman and Kenton Koch qualified here last year at Petit Le Mans, and they did a 1:29 in qualifying.
Wow.
So he's getting close, but still has about 7 seconds to make up.
Yeah, you saw him through turn 3 there at the top of the hill. Those big tiger teeth, as I was told they were called. And he took all of them and a little bit of dirt there as well. So he's certainly trying to make up some of that race that time.
You can tell by the way he's going around the car. He's absolutely pushing around this track.
Yeah, so Jackie Ding running a 1:36.066, faster than he ran yesterday. So as far as I know, that is the fastest a new Supra has ever gone around Road Atlanta. So
how has the track temp been affecting the times? I mean, I know we're a little bit earlier in the morning. It's not at full blast yet today. So has the track temp been a factor so far in the lap times?
So yesterday was interesting. Yesterday morning was a pretty decent session, but a lot of the drivers were getting warmed up. And then, especially for Time Attack Group A, it rained for like 2 minutes right before their second session yesterday. Caused lap times to go down a little bit, but by halfway through Group B, it had dried out. But this place, I've driven here multiple times, and throughout the day, depending on how hot it gets, you can see a 1.5 to 2 second variation in lap time. Just based on track temps.
Yeah, and that's something that we're familiar with from the Symphonian is the track temperature changing. Yeah. Not only throughout the day, but also when the cloud comes over. The track temp will change wildly in just a couple minutes. And 1 to 2 seconds, that's a lot of time, especially if you're in a Supra chasing a TCR.
I was going to say, and what would really help, I'm sure what he's going to be hoping for is cloud coming over the track, cooling it down. He could try to gain another second or two.
Oh, a bit of a wiggle at the top of the hill there for the S2000. And, again, that's another one of those areas where you crest a hill and you get back on the power. You're going to get a little squirrely because the track falls away from you there. So he was certainly on the power, got a little squirrely, and now he's kind of a little bit more tender through the bottom of the hill.
And so historically at Road Atlanta, if you take a lot of curbing up at the top of turn 3, the car will actually go airborne. But you have to make sure that you place the car perfectly so that you don't have any issues trying to get down the S's.
Yeah, I'm actually still surprised they haven't recovered this K-Tune vehicle. It's still just hanging out there. I guess it's off the track far enough.
Yeah, that's our buddy Chris Boersma out of Canada.
Oh, that's Boersma.
Yeah,
gotcha.
It's pretty much the sister car to James Houghton's Integra.
Okay.
So, and sometimes from afar, I get them messed up still, even after like 4 years. But both cars very, very quick. Interesting fact, though, about Chris Boersma, James Houghton, and Will Young, they all live around the same area in Canada. So Will Young and James Houghton actually live maybe 10 minutes apart from each other up in Kitchener. So two of the fastest time attack cars in North America are located right by each other. Something's in the water up there, man.
Absolutely. And this is really cool, Finian, watching these the S2000 and the Camaro racing each other. This is two very different ideas of how to go fast.
Oh, absolutely. One car is much better, much more nimble, much more lighter. And then you have the big beast coming out behind it, trying to chase it down on pure power alone.
So one thing, you see the wave by going on here. At Gingerman Raceway, a lot more twists and turns there than at So the cars for the torquier cars might actually do a little bit better.
Yeah, definitely, especially on the long back straightaway, too. That's really where they're going to benefit from the more power, just a longer straightaway, able to get up top speed a lot faster than the smaller car in behind him.
So working our way down through turns 4 and 5. And this exit curb we've been talking about all the time. In the sim, you're going to use all this and some. I think drivers will be a little bit more careful in the real world, because if you mess that up, there's a wall like 10 feet to the right there. And if you bobble and you try to catch it the wrong way, that's going to be a pretty hard hit there.
Yeah, pretty much going to have to just say a prayer before you hit the wall and just hope for the best.
Yeah, so these turn 3 curbs, we were talking about it earlier, is that you catch air here, right? And one of the things that, again, our experiences in the sim, the laser scan's a little bit outdated now, and the curbs here are a lot bigger now than they are in the sim.
Yeah, And in a way, that's a benefit and a curse. You know, you can take a lot more out of the corner, but also you have that car because it's a higher curb. You're going to be bouncing in the air a little bit more too.
Oh, Vaughn Gittin Jr. out here in time attack with a 142.79. And I know he'll be tearing it up in the drift sessions later, and I want to get a ride with him in one of those Mustangs, that's for sure. But right now, a 142.79. Sheila, 135. Jang at 36.0. Zhang at 37.1. Miller at 37.6. And Thompson at 37.8. That's your total.
Shields in the Chevy
Camaro.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So he's in there coming in fast time on track.
And I'm going to guess this is Vaughn Gittin Jr. in this blue Mustang coming down the hill. And, you know, this must be kind of fun for Vaughn to get to do some grip laps in these cars because usually he's drifting sideways, you know, handbrake, clutch kicking, and it's got to be fun to get out there and just pull some G's for a little while.
Yeah, just definitely before he pulls some more G's when he's drifting around here. So definitely enjoying it. So out of 140, we'll see if he can improve and end up where that Camaro is. I'm not sure exactly how they are on pace, but you would think they would be close, relatively close to each other.
You know, one thing about the Camaro that always confused me was I always considered the Camaro a muscle car. And it seems like the last couple years, the last couple generations, they've started stepping away from that. And the Mustang's done the same thing.
Yeah.
Where they used to be really big, heavy, brutish cars, and they still are that. But they just put massive tires on them and give them a little bit of aero. Yeah. And they're honestly pretty decent track cars now.
Yeah, and I think it definitely has to do with, especially with the proper GT4 variants of the cars coming out in real life, that these guys being able, I think that's probably definitely helped that being able to lap long. Because you have the power there. The power is definitely there. Is I think the handling department where the car needed a little bit of work as far as lap times are concerned, and definitely made a lot of improvements over recent years.
And Camaro versus Corvette. You know, it's the age-old battle between these cars. And personally, I'm a Corvette guy. I don't know how about you, but the Camaro certainly is very capable of the machine.
I would say I definitely enjoy the Corvette a little bit more, which makes me more sad that we're getting rid of the old Corvette and getting the new mid-engine one.
Yeah, so thoughts about the new Corvette, the C8 Corvette with the mid-engine. I don't have one here, but talk about that.
We were talking about it a little bit yesterday. I think that thing is going to be a ringer next year for Time Attack. I mean, it's going to be... It's the first time that there's been an affordable, higher horsepower mid-engine car available to the public. And it's a phenomenal value. I mean, it really is. I think, base is like $59,000. So you're talking cheaper than like a fully loaded Chevy Suburban.
Certainly, it's an amazing value. What are your thoughts on it in terms of the historical context of what a Corvette has been? What are your thoughts?
So, supposedly, you know, Chevrolet's been trying to make a mid-engine Corvette work for probably the past 10 years. So it's something that they've always wanted to do, but they lack the technology or the resources to be able to do. So now, you know, I'm not much of a purist of any car. I'm more performance and lap time kind of speaks for everything. A lot of drivers talk about steering feel and stuff, and for me, as long as the car's sticking, I really don't care. So I just like seeing outright speed. And so for me, I think it was a perfect choice for them to do it.
Absolutely. And you know, you talk about the value of it. And there's also some discussions about the new Supra, because I think the Supra and the Corvette base are only separated by about $10K. And everyone was saying, oh, well, the Corvette just came out, so why'd you buy a Supra? But they're so different in terms of their makeup and their construction. I don't think a Corvette person is cross-shopping with a Supra necessarily.
No, but what I think you might see now is that there's a different spot for the Supra, in my opinion. It's a little bit smaller than the Corvette is. Corvette is just typically a little bit larger of a vehicle. And they kind of speak to two different audiences.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the Supra, I mean, the FRS and BRZ, the 86, those cars fit a niche that we haven't really seen in a long time. The lightweight rear-wheel drive sports car, and for a long time, the only thing you could get was a Miata. And that has now changed with the FRS, BRZ, and 86. But the complaint that everyone had, that is an argument that there's just been
no power. No power.
And that's been solved with the Supra now.
Right.
And I wouldn't say that they're necessarily similar cars, but
similar philosophy. You can definitely tell they have this similar line of the cars. They look, I mean, not just the way it looks alone, just the way it handles, similar design.
Yeah, so the FT86 concept was where the Supra and the FRS BRZ got a lot of their styling cues from.
You know, what I do like is seeing Toyota kind of get back in the game. You know, for the longest time, especially around the recession years, a lot of manufacturers, Honda and Toyota and everybody really, wasn't really putting out anything exciting. And now that's been completely changed.
Yeah, I think the biggest complaint was that, like you said, Honda, Toyota, they make boring cars, make economy cars. And now when they come back and we have Toyota partnering with BMW to make cars like the Supra, and partnering with Supra to to make cars like the FRS BRZ. Oh, we have a car off here. It's an Evo. Not sure if you know who that is.
I can't quite tell from the screen who that is. It's like an Evo 8 or 9.
It's definitely an Evo. But that's
That might be Charles Miller, actually.
Charles Miller, who is currently sitting P5? P5. He has 137.661. I think that's on the back straight heading down to turn. Is that right out of the S's, actually. So this session's going to be coming to a close here shortly, but we've had a lot of offs so far. Cars pulling up.
Yeah, which is really unfortunate. Really unfortunate. You got to feel for the drivers too. You just want to go out there, have some fun, and do the car, and then unfortunately you're gonna have to call it a day for some of these guys. But still, some guys putting in some decent laps. Haven't seen any action though. Yeah. Why does the 135 remain the same? Or is it just me?
Yeah.
Same. Okay, yeah. So I haven't seen really a whole lot of improvements in the front of the field.
So the WRXs just went down to the bottom of the hill. Talking about cars that are fun. In the meantime, while Toyota and Honda were out of out of the business of making fun cars, Subaru never left.
Yeah.
The WRX, the STI, still around. Of course, the new generation's out now. But this car is still great performance for a dollar.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, especially for people, a lot of people that come to these GRIDLIFE events are from the Midwest. And in snowy conditions, those things are perfect. You can put down tons of power. They are a little bit heavier. Same thing with the Evos. Anything all-wheel drive really is going to be a little bit heavier than some of your other vehicles that you might choose. But yesterday we actually saw a couple drivers in the damp sessions. The fastest cars of the sessions were the all-wheel drive cars.
Yeah, I think Subarus are do-it-all machines, Finian. I mean, you can drive them in the snow, you can drive them on the track, and the aftermarket that's available for all the cars.
I was about to say, tuners love the car.
Go to eBay, type in Subaru, and you'll just have 50,000 results and the turbos.
Go to
whatever,
car meet and you see all different kinds. It's all the same car, but everyone does it every which way. They customize it how they like, and there's so many, again, like you said, so many ways to do it.
It's a culture. Subaru is a culture. I mean, you get into it, and
it's almost like a cult.
I mean, when you're driving down the road, you see another Subaru, you do like, you're friends with all your Subaru buddies. And I think that's the cool thing about driving a car like that. I mean, there's not a lot of car cultures that are, I don't know if Corvette owners necessarily do that. No. I feel like the Subaru guys, they got their vape and they're having a good time. There's definitely a stereotype associated with Subarus, but it's a good one, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely a good one.
So we were talking about how the track responds to temperatures earlier. I just looked. All these drivers ran their fastest lap times in their first, second, or third lap. So it's definitely, we can feel it up here on the stage. It's definitely starting to get a little bit warmer out there, and I think track conditions are actually starting to get just a little bit worse.
Humidity as well. We're from upstate New York. I'm from upstate New York. He's from Long Island. It's hot down here.
Yeah, it's a little different, isn't it?
It is different.
You think you know humidity, and then you come to the south.
Yeah.
It was funny because as soon as we walked out of the airport, the airport's all nice and get air conditioned. Stepped outside, it was like a wall of just humid air that hit us.
Yeah, so definitely a very different place down here. This is my first time actually south of Washington, D.C.
Oh, really?
I've never been on a
welcome to the
before.
south. You got to go to Chick-fil-A. You got to go to Waffle House.
One.
Yeah, we
gotta
should
go.
definitely go. We should definitely go to one at one time.
Yeah, we got our first sweet tea last night as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
First time ever?
First time.
Sweet tea? What'd you think?
Really good. I was really good. I can drink a lot of that. I should probably stay away from the
It's like
rest of the
drinking
time
maple
here.
syrup. It's amazing.
Well, there's a reason though a lot of Southerners have diabetes. I grew up here in Atlanta. So I can say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's probably due to the sweet tea. It is pretty addictive.
Yeah, it's great stuff. So, meanwhile, the session has ended, at least the second session. Still have a car off track down here, and Will I Young his car's been sitting there the whole session. I didn't know that they had him. So
yeah, he's actually pretty well protected behind that wall there. So if anybody came down, I guess the corner workers have decided and fire safety has decided that's a decent spot to be. Will obviously being very experienced and knowing exactly where he needed to pull off. I did talk to him yesterday. He was having some issues, needed a sensor, which he was able to get from Kevin Boehm from Acuity Investments. But judging by that flyer lap, that's pretty dang quick. Like we were talking about earlier, like you guys said, his fastest lap time here ever has been, I believe, a 1:19.5.
Yeah, so he's
which
out the door there.
yeah, which isn't bad for a Honda Civic.
No.
So I think maybe something happened with that sensor again. You can see there Chris Boersma getting delivered back to his vehicle, and it looks like they're going to pull that in. So might be a slight delay before the next time attack group goes out.
Yeah, there was smoke emanating from the bottom of that engine compartment, which worries me a little bit. Could be something a little bit more than a sensor, although I don't know what sensor it was.
Yeah.
But it didn't look great. It did stop when he shut the car off, though, which I guess is good. So it wasn't on fire.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was worried. I saw some smoke. I'm like, hopefully it doesn't get worse than that.
Yeah, Yeah, so we're just going to recover these vehicles and get them off track for the next session, and we'll get a clear, nice, clean track for everybody.
So this is your guys' first time here to Road Atlanta?
It's my first time south of Washington, D.C. So,
oh yeah, that's right. You said that earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I've been in Florida a lot of times. I haven't been in LA. This is the first time in Georgia, so nice being here, and especially also to another track too. The only real actual track I've been to other than this is Watkins Glen up in New York. So second track I've been to in real life, but really fun to be here.
Yeah, I'm a Watkins Glen guy.
Okay.
My personal favorite racetrack.
Yeah.
Love that place. If we could get GRIDLIFE to go there, that would be awesome.
That'd be pretty awesome.
That would
man.
be pretty cool.
Not gonna lie.
I don't know how you could drift at that track with the walls being so close.
You can drift anything, man.
I mean,
It's a
that's-
little wall tap. No big deal.
Put like the NOS bottle on the side like they did in the commercials. That'd be a lot of fun.
Now, what you need to do, you need to put like $100 bills with double-sided tape on them, on like the front side. So like as you drift by, you can collect $100 bills if you come really, really close to the wall.
There's a lot of really cool racetracks on the GRIDLIFE schedule, and there was a bunch of guys having fun on the Facebook page. You know, just we should go to this track and this track and this track, and I was like, well, we should go to GRIDLIFE Finger Lakes. I thought that'd be a lot of fun. Well, it's certainly beautiful down here in the Atlanta area. One of the cool things about this area though is the red dirt.
Yeah, so the Georgia red clay, I grew up playing in it, and it stained a lot of my clothes. So my mom wasn't too happy about that when I was growing up. But yeah, it's just a kind of a unique feature here in Atlanta that you don't get in kind of other parts of the U.S. actually.
Yeah, no, it's kind of weird. This is me. I just can't. I remember you told me on the flight that the dirt is red, and I didn't. Not that I didn't believe you, but then I come here and see it. It's just so weird to see it after just seeing like brown and dark dirt all my life.
You know what's kind of funny is again, a lot of our experience to most racetracks in the U.S. is through the iRacing.com simulator, and one of the things that's kind of neat is when you go to dirt tracks in iRacing, you can see the different kinds of dirt, and I think there's a couple of tracks in Florida that have a similar very red dirt clay kind of texture to them. But